Hey everyone, welcome back to The Dang Good Show. I'm your host, Christine Dang. Most call me C Dang. And today I'm excited to kick off a special 3-part series that I think will really resonate, especially as we head into the darker, colder months. Now, you might be wondering why I chose these topics. With fall and winter upon us, the days are getting shorter. The sun isn't out as long, and that shift in season can bring a shift in our mood. These colder months naturally lead us to be more reflective and sometimes even a bit heavier. That's why I wanted to dive into these deeper introspective themes of intuition, resistance, and growth. Tools we can rely on to help us navigate both the external and internal changes that come with the season. This series, Navigating the Unknown, Intuition, Resistance, and Growth, is all about exploring the parts of ourselves that guide us, even when we might not fully understand or trust them. Over the next 3 episodes, we'll break down different aspects of intuition and resistance, looking at why we sometimes resist the very things that can help us grow, and tuning into our inner voice that can lead us to surprising places. Here's how the series will unfold. Episode 35. Trusting the gut, how intuition guides us to growth. In this first episode, we'll talk about what it means to truly listen to your inner voice and how connecting with your intuition can help you see new paths and possibilities you may not have realized were there. Episode 36, Embracing Resistance, why what we avoid holds the most growth. Here, we'll explore why we often push back against change or challenges, and how, by embracing what we resist, we can unlock some of the most profound growth. Episode 37, Intuition versus Logic. Finding the balance in big decisions. Lastly, we'll dive into the balance between intuition and logic, learning how to use both to make decisions that feels right and lead to a more fulfilling life. This series is all about empowering you to trust yourself, embrace the unknown, and see resistance not as a roadblock, but as an opportunity. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful internal tools we all possess, intuition. Yep, that gut feeling, that inner nudge that often whispers the truth we might be trying to ignore. It's what helps us navigate through life, making choices that align with who we are and leading us to growth, even when it means stepping out of our comfort zone. Let's kick things off by asking, what really is intuition? For me, intuition is that immediate sense we get without needing a logical explanation. Think of it as your inner GPS. It doesn't give you a map of every turn, but directs you moment by moment. And while it might seem mysterious, it's grounded in something very real. Our accumulated experiences, memories, and emotional responses. So, why does intuition matter? Well, imagine every time you ignored that gut feeling. You might have ended up in situations you could have avoided, or you may have missed out on opportunities because you doubted yourself. Trusting your intuition is like giving yourself permission to believe you know what's best for you, even when you don't have all the answers right in front of you. I want to share something personal here. For years, I struggled with trusting my intuition, especially when I had that gnawing resistance about certain choices. Every time I ignored it, something went wrong. A particular moment I remember was when I had this deep hesitation about taking on a project that looked great on paper, but didn't feel right in my gut. I ignored that feeling, took that project, and long story short, it turned into a mess. Another experience taught me a different side of intuition. There was a decision that felt right, but in the last moment, I doubted myself and walked away. Looking back, I realized that my hesitation was rooted in insecurity, in the fear of the unknown. It was like not trusting myself enough to believe that I could handle what might come next. Over time, I learned a valuable lesson. Self-doubt clouds intuition. The more I explored, the more I started noticing a pattern. By embracing curiosity, asking questions, researching, being open to new ideas, I began feeling more secure about trusting my gut. And every time I chose to trust myself, I noticed I felt more confident. Intuition became my compass, pointing me towards what aligned with my values and goals. That's when I realized something important. Intuition often reveals itself through patterns. By tuning into these patterns, we learn more about ourselves and the types of situations we tend to regret or feel fulfilled by. This awareness became a game changer for me, and it brings us to a broader lesson in recognizing those patterns to avoid future regrets. I've learned that intuition often shows up through these patterns, teaching us to recognize situations that may lead to regret if we ignore that inner voice. Think about it. How often have you or someone you know gone along with a decision only to regret it later? I've been there, especially in my younger years. We might say yes to things we don't really want or follow others' ideas because it seems easier than standing our ground. One common example, I used to say yes to every social gathering or project, even if I didn't feel like it. I'd see others go all in on things, and I feel like I had to keep up. But with time, I learned that doing things out of obligation rather than genuine interest only leads to regret. Another example that really stands out to me is a situation with two colleagues who were constantly at odds. I ended up hearing both of their perspectives, and it was eye-opening. One of them had a naturally optimistic outlook, seeing things with an open mind and focusing on solutions. The other was more skeptical and often assumed the worst intentions, viewing the same situation through a more negative lens. It became clear that the same words or actions were being interpreted in completely different ways, simply because of their individual mindsets. This experience taught me that intuition isn't just about our own feelings. It's about understanding the deeper dynamics at play. By trusting my gut about people's intentions and listening beyond just their words, I was able to help bridge the gap between them. They began to see each other's views more clearly, and it really showed me how valuable it is to use intuition to bring empathy into our interactions. Sometimes trusting that gut feeling about where people are coming from can be the key to resolving misunderstandings and finding common ground. Enjoying what you're hearing? Fantastic! To make sure you're always in the loop with the latest episode, just hit that subscribe button. Your support makes all the difference. And hey, this podcast thrives because of awesome listeners like you. So a big shout out for that. And of course, I'm on Instagram. Find and follow me at Christine_Dang. Lastly, looking for more information on what we discussed today? Just cruise on over to thedangoodshow.com, click on the episode you're curious about, and voila, access to the show notes. Now, without further ado, let's jump back into the show. Let's get practical now. How do you build that trust in your intuition? Here are some strategies that have worked for me, and hopefully they'll help you too. Number 1, Practice self-reflection. Take time each day to check in with yourself. Journaling is a great way to capture any gut feelings or insights. Write down what you're feeling, even if it seems vague. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns in what feels right and wrong for you. Number 2, start small. Building intuition doesn't have to start with big life decisions. Try trusting your gut on small things, like what you feel like doing after work, or how to handle a simple choice. See how you feel afterwards. These small practice choices build confidence for the bigger ones. Number 3, approach with curiosity. Instead of fearing your gut feeling, lean into it with curiosity. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Or what am I hoping for? By treating intuition as a learning tool, you're less likely to judge yourself and more likely to understand what's behind that feeling. For instance, when I took my first solo trip overseas to Seoul, South Korea, I planned to stay for 4 months. It felt like everyone was telling me not to go. Family members who rarely called suddenly reached out warning me not to go, practically ordering me to stay home. But my gut was clear. It was telling me that this experience would be worth it, that I gained something invaluable from it. So, despite all the warnings, I packed my bags and went. The trip was terrifying, no doubt about it. I was in a new city, navigating language barriers, and figuring out everything on my own. But it was also one of the most proudest moments of my life because I pushed through the fear. That time in Seoul became one of the best experiences I ever had and taught me how powerful it is to trust myself. That trip was a turning point. It showed me that I was capable of and cemented my belief in following my gut. Number 4, surround yourself with encouraging voices. Having supportive friends who encouraged me to go to Seoul made all the difference. While I had family members advising me to stay, my friends were there cheering me on, telling me to embrace the adventure. They respected my intuition and believed in my decision, and I am so thankful for them to this day. Surrounding yourself with people who respect and encourage your inner voice can be a game changer. They remind you that those bold, gut-driven choices often lead to the most impactful experiences, and they reinforce the trust you're building in yourself. And lastly, number 5, physical activity. Movement and exercise can help clear mental clutter and make it easier to connect with your intuition. In fact, exercise releases what's known as hope molecules or myokines, natural chemicals that lift your mood and boost mental clarity. In episode 22, Embracing Self-Awareness and Self-Love in a Digital World, I went deeper into these hope molecules and how physical activity can help build mental resilience. If you're interested, I recommend checking out that episode for more. Now, here's the reality. There will always be people or situations that challenge your choices. Learning to trust your intuition doesn't mean everyone will agree with you, and that's okay. Building confidence in your choices, especially when faced with external pressures, often requires standing your ground. If you're dealing with outside pressure, here are a few strategies to help you stay grounded. Number 1, set boundaries. Be clear and polite when communicating that you're following your instincts. Sometimes people question our choices simply because they don't understand our motivations. Set those boundaries kindly but firmly. Number 2, do your research. Gathering information and exploring your options can be a game changer for building confidence in your decisions. Before heading to Seoul, I researched everything I could about the city, its culture, and the language. I even took Korean lessons for a month leading up to the trip. I found that not knowing creates insecurities, which leads to doubt. So I wanted to be as prepared as possible. This background knowledge gave me the confidence to stand firm when family members questioned my choice. Research doesn't just inform you, it empowers you to clearly communicate your decisions and provide a strong foundation to lean on. Number 3, trust your values. If your intuition aligns with your core values, that's a strong signal that it's worth following. When you're making decisions that reflect who you are, it's easier to feel confident and committed, even when faced with differing opinions. Number 4, remember the big picture. It might feel tough to stand firm in the face of doubts or questions from others. But keep in mind that this journey is about building a deeper trust in yourself. The challenges you face now are stepping stones to your personal growth and resilience. So trust that inner voice. Do your homework and find the courage to make choices that feel right to you. When you combine intuition with preparation, you're setting yourself up for the most empowering experiences and learning moments. Trusting your gut is more than just a skill. It's a form of self-love, a way to affirm that you have everything you need within to make the right choices. When we listen to our intuition, we're building a deeper relationship with ourselves, one rooted in trust and understanding. Remember, intuition is a muscle that grows stronger with use. So if you're just starting out, be patient with yourself. Every small choice you make that aligns with your intuition builds a foundation for greater confidence in your decision making. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Dang Good Show. I hope this episode has inspired you to trust that inner voice a little more. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, stick around for the next part of the series, where we'll be diving into the power of embracing resistance in episode 36. Until next time, trust yourself. Stay curious, and as always, stay dang good. Much love, C-Dang signing out. Thank you for joining us on The Dang Good Show. Remember to swing by our website, thedangoodshow.com, where you can easily subscribe on platforms like Apple, Google, and Spotify to keep up with our latest episodes. Loved what you heard today? A thumbs up and a positive review on your favorite listening platform would be incredibly appreciated. And if our show struck a chord with you, sharing it with just one friend can help our community grow and thrive. Thanks once more for lending your ears to me on The Dang Good Show. Until we meet again, take care and goodbye.